Was Sherlock Holmes real? If he wasn't real, how come there's a house at his address? I'm in Baker Street, London today, and Baker Street is actually famous for three things: Sherlock Holmes, and you know where this is going, Sherlock Holmes. So everything around here is based around Sherlock Holmes. When you come out of the tube station, there is a Sherlock Holmes statue. There are shops which are themed around Sherlock Holmes. There is also Sherlock Holmes' address, 221B Baker Street. This is where he used to live, and in fact there is a this is Baker Street actually, and right down this street where 221 Baker Street exists today, there is a Sherlock Holmes museum. So let's go and check it out. So here I am at that famous address, 221B Baker Street. And if you know your Sherlock Holmes, you would know that Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson used to live upstairs from their landlady, who was Mrs. Hudson. And from Mrs. Hudson's floor all the way up to Sherlock Holmes's floor, there were exactly 17 stairs. And Sherlock Holmes' study had two large windows overlooking Baker Street. And this house, which is exactly at that location, has all of that. It's today a museum, and if you go in, you would find that there are exactly 17 steps from downstairs to upstairs, and there are two large windows overlooking Baker Street. So how did this come into existence? Was it a real place? Did that actually exist? Did someone actually live here? Which gave inspiration to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to come up with Sherlock Holmes. So in order to talk about that, we need to walk down this street a little bit. Actually, when Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote Sherlock Holmes, there was no 221B on this street. In fact, the numbers only went up to their hundreds. So there were no 200s on this street. The numbers beyond hundreds were issued later on. And when that was done, numbers from 219 to 229 went into this building. So today it's number 219. So from 219 to 229 at the time went into this building. And the building was actually occupied by a bank named Abbey National at the time. So what happened was, after those numbers were assigned to the bank, Sherlock Holmes, actually fans of Sherlock Holmes write to that address from all over the world. So all those letters started coming into the bank. They received so many letters that the bank actually had to employ someone full-time to answer those letters as Sherlock Holmes' secretary. The museum that we showed earlier actually started in 1990. So when they actually started, the museum wanted the address, and they asked the bank to hand over the address to them, but the bank actually refused. They wanted to be the house of Sherlock Holmes. So there was a legal battle that ensued, because the museum argued that they are the best equipped and the best place to answer those letters, because they're a Sherlock Holmes museum, whereas this is a bank, and the bank's job is not to answer letters to Sherlock Holmes, but they're there to do their business, take deposits from customers and lend money. Anyway, this legal battle went on for nearly a decade, and it only ended in 2002 when the Abbey National Bank moved out of here. Abbey National is now part of the Santander Group, so they moved out of the building, and it's only then that the museum that we see today got the address. In fact, there is no 221 on this street, although there's a 221B. Also, that museum is located between numbers 237 and 241. So ideally their number should be 239, but the council has given them special permission to use that number, because now they serve as a Sherlock Holmes museum. So there are people coming from all over the world to visit the street, see Baker Street, and see Sherlock Holmes's house. So that is how it serves, that is how it has come into existence. And all of those things that are inside, you know, the 17 steps, the windows overlooking Baker Street and everything that is set up. So those were built later on, exactly like that was in the book. So when the book was actually written, there was no such building, or there was no such address. So there you have it, a fictional address, a fictional building, and a fictional character. The address and the building have actually come to life today. They are real places, they exist, but the character doesn't. It never existed, and it never will, and probably for the best. I'll see you next time.